Welcome back to Manga Storians Berserk. Today we're going to be starting with chapter 111. And when we last left off, Bonebeard's ship was attacking the Seahorse, Roderick's ship, as the evil, weird, monstrous pirates that have been affected by Griffith's change of the entire world. Roderick told Guts that he has his thanks for giving him time to prepare. Now all lower decks, fire! As soon as Roderick gives the order, the lower cannon decks begin tearing through Bonebeard's ship, filling it full of holes. Bonebeard shouts, "Me lagged ship is all scrapped now! Ye swab scum's rat! A curse on ye! But don't go anywhere yet! There's a storm that'll be coming!" And that's when one of Bonebeard's crewmen yells, "Wait, the sun! The sun is rising!" Bonebeard tips his hat laughing, "You be lucky for now until next time, yarr!" Just like that, Bonebeard's ship dives back underwater, and Guts says that it was a bit refreshing that he ended up coming back. All of the crew members begin to surround Guts, telling him that he is amazing. And Roderick says that it looks like they are in his debt now. Guts tells them not to worry about it. It's just how we're gonna pay our way around here. Roderick then begins to think and asks, why were they on a ghost ship this time? Ever since that weird wind passed over, it's like something strange is going on with the sea. Roderick's first mate runs up stating that they may have an issue. The ship is taking on water and they're going to need time to repair the hull. He sails his ship until nightfall. And as he looks around, he asks, isn't there an island nearby our current location? The first mate tells him he believes so. It's a seaport on the decline on a tiny solitary island. And while the Seahorse makes it for that small island, the young girl with stringy hair sits along the shore watching as they set anchor. Once the small boat makes it to the shore, Ivalaria mentions that there's something about this island that doesn't sit right. Guts asks what's the matter, and Shirkei tells him that something strange is going on here. Doesn't he feel it? He touches the bleeding brand on his neck, stating how, now that she mentions it, ever since the weird wind blew past them, this thing hasn't stopped bleeding. It's as if the wound itself is staying open. It's oversensitive and numb all at the same time. Shirkei then says that there's an ominous ode infesting this island. It would be best if they avoided landing here. Roderick tells her that he's sorry, but the ship's repairs will take a while. We will depart at sunrise. Serpico then says, there shouldn't be anything to worry about, so long as we don't go wandering off separately. Which Ishidoro clearly did not hear as he runs off to explore on his own. Just as he climbs one of the island's highest points, him and Puck spot a rather large cave going into the side of the island. Ishidoro quickly climbs down the side of the ridge to take a look, and as he goes in, the young girl from before stops him. That cave is dangerous, you shouldn't go near it. And Ishidoro asks who is she. The girl leaps over the rocks and onto the same platform as Ishidoro, asking if that's an elf. Wow! Being stuck on this island, we don't get to see very many elves. He's so cute! And Puck says, yeah, I get that a lot. But then the girl looks over and sees the Seahorse and asks if he came from that ship. That means they're from the outside world, right? Well, if that's the case, then of course they wouldn't know what's in this cave. It's taboo for the people of this island to ever enter it. Ishidoro asks, what, is there a monster or something inside? And the girl tells him that there's a legend from a long time ago, that it is the home to the sea god. Back with the others, they all begin to make their way through the small fishing town, and Roderick says that he was hoping to resupply their provisions. But it would seem that they won't be doing it here. Just then, Roderick sees a person in one of the houses looking at them and calls out asking if they know if there's an inn or a pub around. The person doesn't respond and slowly closes the shutters. Then everyone begins to look down the street and they see the rest of the people doing the same. Roderick shrugs, stating that it looks like they're a bit shy, huh? Guts asks Shirkei if she senses anything, and she says that she can't quite make it out clearly. There's some kind of vague, hazy ode here. It feels like it's covering the entire village. And as she says that, Casca begins to shout and pull away from the group. That's when Farnese tries to pull her back, and they all look over to see offerings to the idol laid out before them. But back with Ishidoro, he is staring down the dark cavern, and he asks the strange girl, sea god? And the girl says that even though he's called a sea god, he can sink ships, and he's known to devour humans. It's a terrifying god of misfortune and calamity. Ishidoro begins to laugh, stating that it's sounding more and more interesting. Perhaps I should go and check to see if your legends are true. The girl tells him to wait, and as soon as Ishidoro steps forward, a giant wave crashes against the rocks, causing him to slip and hit his head. He begins to get back up trembling, stating that there is something here. And the girl sighs, telling him that it can't be helped. Come along and she can fix him up. But as he gets up and sneezes, he doesn't see that his fall caused him to drop his magical dagger. Back on the inner part of the island, everyone gathers around a small idol, and Farnese says that this thing is pretty eerie, isn't it? Shirkei tells them that this is the idol of an ancient god. Many of the gods were forgotten as religion spread across the world, and it would seem that the small isolated islands like this have kept up the old traditions. Shirkei then steps away, stating that she would like to take a walk around the island, so don't wait up for her in procuring lodgings for the night. Farnese asks if it's dangerous for her to walk off alone, and Shirkei tells her that she feels like something is going on with this island and she's just going to go confirm it. Roderick then asks if she would like one of his officers to escort her, and Shirokei says that there's no need to worry. She appreciates the concern, but compared to the cities, places like this are much more safer for her. Back with Ishidori, he warms himself by the fire in the strange girl's house, stating that he's been getting warmer thanks to her. This kindling is kind of weird though, isn't it? What is it? She tells him that it's peat. It's what happens to the grass when it gets buried under mud and it begins to rot. This island can't grow trees, so this is what they use for fuel here. As Ishidori looks at the girl drying off, he sees her naked. As the cut on Ishidori's head begins to bleed, she says that she needs to see the cut so that she can put some medicine on it. He tries to tell her that he'll be fine, but she leans down to put the medicine on, and he finds himself staring at the girl's bare chest. Puck says that you can plug one place up, and then blood will start shooting out of the other. The girl begins to get dressed and says that the medicine is made with kelp. It should be pretty effective. He gets up warming himself and he says, "Thanks. My name is Ishidori, by the way." And the girl tells him that her name is Isma. Isma then asks, when will they be leaving? And Ishidori says, they can set sail tomorrow morning, so... And she says, well then, you should eat up and have a good meal. Then you can tell me all about your stories of the outside world. Ishidori tells her, sure? And Isma begins to frantically run around setting up the table, yelling for him to hang on before he says anything. She needs everything to be ready. Meanwhile, back with the others, the group finds an inn to stay in, and Magnifico says that he'll be glad once they finally get a decent meal in his stomach. But as he looks up at the wall of fish that have been caught and hung up, he says, maybe not. As Casca gets up to look at the things on the wall, Guts looks around and sees two people sitting in the corner eating, but something about them seems off. The cook calls out to Guts that he's terribly sorry. It will be just a little bit longer. He'll fetch some ingredients from the back. And as the cook leaves, he waddles away in the darkness, causing Guts to become even more suspicious. Back with Shirokei, she finds herself staring down the same cavern that Ishidori went down earlier and senses that the heart of the strange ode is coming from inside of there. Evalaria tells her that maybe they should go back, but then says, look at that. Shirokei looks down, seeing Ishidori's dagger glowing, and asks, how did it get here? She steps forward, calling out for him, and that's when several of the tentacles from before shoot out at her. She says that these things are from the ghost ship, and Evalaria tells her, yeah, but aren't these a little small? It could be that Ishidori was eaten by these things, and Shirokei says that she'll try to telepathically reach out to Ishidori and see for sure. As she connects to him, she begins to see an image, and that image is Ishidori looking down the dress of Isma. Shirokei blushes as she loses focus on that image, but in doing so, she allows the tentacles to reach up and grab her. Back in Isma's home, Isma slams her hands on the table as she yells that story's amazing, and then what happened? Ishidori tries not to look at her dress and says, well, right after that I used my magic knife as a finisher, and I slashed him across the gut. Isma says, wow, that's surprising. Is it all true? And Ishidori tells her of course it is. He can even show her the magic knife. As he reaches back, he notices that the knife is missing, and then he yells, hang on, everything I said is true. And Isma says, don't worry. She believes him. He has an elf with him after all. So that kind of adventure isn't hard to believe. And that's when a voice asks, might this be what you're looking for? Both Ishidori and Isma look over to see Shirokei covered in seaweed and shells holding the knife. She points the blade at Ishidori's neck, telling him that it is a very rare object and he should take better care of it and not lose it. He shoots back, asking, what the hell happened to you? And she yells, thanks to some moron, I've had a pretty rough time. And Evalaria says, yeah, a pervy rough time. That's when she sneezes right in Ishidori's face. Isma leans over and yells that they must be Ishidori's friends. In that case, come inside so they can warm up. And as Shirokei looks at Isma, she sees that this girl has a seemingly very deep connection with the ocean. And that is where we're going to be leaving you with Berserk this week. Don't forget to subscribe to keep up with this ongoing massive story. And if you're just joining us for the first time, we've already covered over 300 chapters of this story. Check it out in the playlist down below, and I'll see you next time right here.